yesterday our finance minister tabled economic survey for the year 2021-22. The theme for this year's economic survey is arts and science of policy making under extreme conditions of uncertainty. They introduced new terms like barbell strategy and agile strategy and all those things. Other than that, the remaining all these things are all the same rhetoric they have given in the last year also. So they said like the India carried out agile strategy where other countries carried out waterfall strategy. And what is agile strategy? They said like it is based on feedback loops and real-time management. So only the terms are new. Other than that, it is the same thing what you find in the last year's economic survey. Like it said like how it successfully managed the COVID pandemic. The government provided a bouquet of safety nets to cushion the impact on vulnerable sections of society. What are the safety nets they have given? Like 3 times they have given 500 rupees, just 500 rupees to Jantan account women holders. So they claim it as a fiscal stimulus, and it is a shame to claim it like that. And they have told all these things in the previous year also. They repeated the same stuff again, and all these things they repeated. And other than that, they say like it stated like when other countries are focusing more on the demand side management and demand side issues, India is focusing more on the supply side management. So, what are the strategies they taken to alleviate the supply side barriers? They said like they carried out deregulation and process of reforms and removal of retrospective tax, privatization and production linked incentives. All these things they claimed as big. By all this, they claim that they have able to alleviate the supply side problems. Then why you see a double-digit inflation in the wholesale price index? For many months, there is a double-digit increase in the wholesale price. But the economic survey say that it is due to the double-digit inflation is due to base effects, and it will even out on its own. And it also projected 8.8 to 8.5% growth rate for the next year, 2022-23, which is a moderate projection comparing to last year. Last year it has given it projected 11% growth rate, but what to find in the first advance estimate of Ministry of Statistics is 9.2%. And the economic survey also claimed that it successfully increased the capital expenditure, and aggressively implemented infrastructure projects. And what are those infrastructure projects? It's only you find only road projects and the railway projects, only these things. So the government by default sees only the road projects and railway projects as infrastructure. There are so many logistic problems in the economy, but only every year they only implement only the road infrastructure projects and the railway projects. And they claim like productive capital and productive investment. And this year it hailed also the extreme performance of the real stock markets has been hailed as if it were a real productive growth of the economy. It has been hailed. And when you see the first advanced estimates of the government of the national income recently released by the Ministry of Statistics, you find there is a decline in the private final consumption expenditure, and there is a decline in the government final consumption expenditure. But the economics are, and there is also a decline in the capital expenditure. But it was not it's not a decline, but it is not drastically increased. It is only but the economic survey says like the spending was increased and all those things. But when you see the Controller General of Accounts data for the term April to November, what you see is there is a actually there is a decline in the overall spending of the government when comparing to previous year. It is spending is lesser than 60%, and its capex spending, capital expenditure, is also in the budget estimate it said like it increased the capital expenditure by 34.5%, but it up to November what to see is there is a 13.5% increase, but there is more than 50% decline in the capex expenditure. So overall the consumption expenditure and the capex expenditure are lower than the previous year. And also you see the spending for the food subsidies and the spending for health sector is also less comparing to last year. There is an increase in unemployment problem is not acknowledged by the economic survey. It says like all the economic activities except the tourism, hotel and all those things has reached above the pre-COVID levels, it says. But that is not true actually. There is an increase in the unemployment level in December according to Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, and it also said like there is a reverse migration problem where the laborers from urban areas migrate to rural areas, and the share of farm laborers are increased by 3%. But all these things are not acknowledged in the economic survey. In the demand side constraints, there is a demand deficit there in the economy. It has not been acknowledged. Even FMCG sectors and many economists recently suggested that the government should give handouts of money to at least to boost the FMCG sector, but all these things has not been acknowledged in this. And there's the purchasing power and the real income of majority of the people are declined sharply, but all these problems are not addressed in the economic survey. They talked about reforms and all those things, but there's a repeal of farm laws, and there is no mention about it in the economic survey. And also overall it gives a rosy picture of the Indian economy. It said like the macroeconomic indicators are well placed to meet any new challenges in the coming year, and which is not the case. You see there is an increase in socio-economic inequality, there is an increase in unemployment problem, and the government but all these things are not acknowledged as problems, but the fiscal deficit of government is well below its target this time. It is less than half of its target. So that means that the government has not increased its spending. That is what it means. So we expect the government to increase its spending and it increase its capital expenditure, but it is with its neoliberal stand, we don't think it will do that. So the except this introducing new pampers terms like the agile strategy and all those things, the problems are not addressed and solutions are not the directives of finding a solution are not discussed in this economic survey as usual. And but it was more pompous in the last year. There are more pompous praises of how successfully it managed. It has already reached a V-shaped economic recovery and all those things. It was claimed in several places. But this time it was moderate comparing to last year. But overall, it has not addressed the problems of the that is prevalent in the economy. So we don't think the government will address all these problems and give us a solution. That is what the economic survey says. Thank you.